In an interview this week, Deontay Wilder has come out and said that he believes Tyson Fury would and should step aside to allow him to face the winner of the Ruiz-Joshua rematch for the undisputed heavyweight championship. Now, anybody who's been following me for any length of time will know that that's music to my ears, because I've been very consistent over the past few years in pushing for this undisputed fight, irrespective of who the contestants are, whether it's AJ versus Wilder, whether it's Wilder versus Ruiz, or any other combination of fighters. I don't care, just as long as I get to see an undisputed champion ASAP. So I welcome Deontay Wilder's call out or statement of intent, however you want to describe it. I welcome it. However, Anthony Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, has greeted Deontay Wilder's call out with cynicism and skepticism. First of all, he's basically accused Deontay Wilder of once again trying to use Anthony Joshua's name for publicity. And he's also alluded to the possibility that Deontay Wilder is trying to get AJ and AJ's team to make the same psychological mistake for this Andy Ruiz rematch that they made for the first Andy Ruiz fight, which was looking past Andy Ruiz. Eddie Hearn has spoken before about how everybody in the lead up to the first Ruiz fight was just asking AJ about the undisputed fight against Wilder. And he believes that contributed to AJ's loss because AJ was just thinking about Wilder. He wasn't fully focused on Ruiz. So Hearn says this time around, AJ and the whole team are not going to make that same mistake, and therefore they're refusing to enter any kind of dialogue with Deontay Wilder. That to me is logical. And with regards to Deontay Wilder using AJ's name for publicity, it wouldn't be the first time. Because if you cast your minds back to May 27th, the Monday to be precise that was the top of the AJ Ruiz fight week. Now, in or around fight week, Deontay Wilder popped up out of the blue. You know, amidst all the spotlight being on AJ for the Ruiz fight and his big launch into the American market, he was appearing on all the talk shows and radio shows, and an enormous spotlight was being shone on Anthony Joshua. And of course, he was then and still is now by far the highest paid boxer in the heavyweight division. So amidst all that spotlight on AJ, Deontay Wilder popped up either that week or the week before and announced that he was rematching, I think it was Luis Ortiz. Then on actual fight week itself, and it might have even been these two announcements in the same week, I can't remember now, but I certainly know one of the announcements actually happened on AJ Ruiz fight week. It was on the Friday after AJ and Ruiz had weighed in. Wilder popped up again and announced that he was rematching Tyson Fury. Okay, it might have been the other way around. It might have been the announcement of the Fury rematch first, then the Ortiz one, or the other way around. But either way, he announced he was rematching somebody on the Friday of AJ Ruiz fight week. That's not a coincidence, people. I mean, you would have to be dangerously stupid to believe that was a coincidence. It was a blatant case of Deontay Wilder trying to piggyback off the publicity surrounding AJ Ruiz. A blatant case of that. And so Eddie Hearn is accusing Deontay Wilder of doing the same thing again, because we've just had AJ facing off against Andy Ruiz in Saudi Arabia in what looks set to be a spectacular event. AJ and Ruiz have been out there shooting promos and what have you, and the area where they're going to build the stadium looks spectacular and it's steeped in history and whatnot. I believe they're calling this event Clash on the Dunes. So again, Eddie Hearn believes that it's just Wilder seeing all the publicity surrounding an AJ event and probably thinking about the kind of money AJ's still making. Just imagine, AJ has just been wiped out by Andy Ruiz and he's still making more money than Deontay Wilder. So, again, according to Hearn, at least in his opinion, and I'm sure in the opinion of many, Wilder is just using this opportunity to try and boost his own profile off the back of AJ once again. I don't know whether he's actually doing that this time, because he did come out and basically call out the contestants in AJ Ruiz on a YouTube channel. Yeah, the interview that he did was on a YouTube channel. I don't know whether he requested that he have that interview on the YouTube channel or whether that YouTube channel invited him. I'm not sure which. Because if he requested that they interview him, then that would be indicative of him indeed using AJ's name for publicity. But if it was the other way around, maybe Wilder isn't trying to use AJ's name for publicity, if you understand what I'm saying. However, another thing that Eddie Hearn has said is, why didn't Deontay Wilder show so much desire to face Anthony Joshua when he had the opportunity? Because he was made several offers to fight AJ and he turned down every single one of them. The last offer he got to face AJ came directly from DAZN, and it was in the form of a $120 million deal. Inexplicably, Deontay Wilder turned it down. Now, of course, that deal would have gone up in smoke anyway because AJ lost to Ruiz, but still, it showed the intent of Team AJ to actually fight Wilder. It showed that all the previous offers had been very serious offers. Wilder had called it crackhead money and all kinds of nonsense. But look, if you turn down career high money when you've got a viable alternative, then that's one thing. And by a viable alternative, I'm talking about if you turn down career high money because you've got a different fight against a different opponent, which can pay you similar money or more, then in certain situations, you can understand that. You can say, oh, all right, okay, you're fighting a similar level opponent for the same money or more money. Cool. But with Deontay Wilder, he turned down career high money on multiple occasions to face Anthony Joshua without having any other fighter out there that could pay him anything even close to what he was offered to fight AJ. So that could be, or that could end up being, the biggest mistake of Deontay Wilder's entire career. That kind of money may never be offered to Deontay Wilder ever again. Particularly if Anthony Joshua wins the Andy Ruiz rematch. And let me explain why. Eddie Hearn had an enormous amount of belief in Anthony Joshua. He truly believed that Joshua could step in there and beat Wilder. He obviously believed Joshua could step in there and beat Ruiz. There were more cautious people in the AJ camp, like AJ's trainer Robert McCracken, who advised AJ against fighting Ruiz at short notice, as a short notice opponent. He wanted AJ to fight the likes of Trevor Bryan or Manuel Charr, I think it was. But AJ overruled his coach and said, no, I want to fight Ruiz. He's better than those guys. I want to give the fans value for money. But as I say, AJ overruled it, and so did Eddie Hearn. Hearn was happy with Ruiz too. And Hearn, of course, was part of trying to make these deals to fight Deontay Wilder. But since AJ has been wiped out by Ruiz in the first fight, and they've had so much trouble in negotiations with Ruiz to make the rematch, if AJ wins, I strongly suspect that the tables will now turn. Instead of Deontay Wilder trying to freeze out AJ, which is exactly what he tried to do. Remember, Deontay Wilder was coming out prior to AJ losing against Ruiz, and he was saying, I've got enough opponents to last me for the next 2 years. I don't need AJ. Remember that? Well, if AJ beats Ruiz, I think AJ, I hope I'm wrong here, but I think AJ's going to try to freeze Wilder out. I think he's going to try and give Wilder a taste of his own medicine. And I think Eddie Hearn wants that too now. One, because Eddie Hearn had the shock of his life when AJ lost to Ruiz, and I think Hearn has lost a lot of confidence in Joshua. I think Sky have lost a lot of confidence in Joshua. I think DAZN have lost a lot of confidence in Joshua. So all of them are going to be looking, instead of going into them dangerous fights against Wilder, they'll be looking to match him a lot more carefully from here on in. That's what I think is going to happen. And that's why I say that Wilder turning down those offers to fight AJ may turn out to be the biggest mistake he's ever made in his entire boxing career. Massive mistake it could turn out to be. Now, if Ruiz beats AJ in the rematch, it's still okay for Wilder. But if he doesn't, Wilder's got serious problems. That's what I think, I think it's a very, very real possibility of that happening. Because if Wilder had fought AJ, if he'd taken that money, he could be undisputed right now. He could be earning 30, 40, 50 million a fight right now. He wouldn't have to wait years down the line to make that kind of money. He could be making that kind of money right now. But he's not making that kind of money right now. And perhaps he'll never make that kind of money. And worse still, he may not get the opportunities to build the kind of legacy that he wants to build for himself. Those opportunities might be gone if AJ beats Ruiz in a rematch. If AJ now turns the tables and starts ducking the Wilder fight, what's Wilder going to do? So, and you might even see Eddie Hearn, instead of being so gung-ho as he was before, trying to put AJ in with Wilder. Now that he's lost a lot of confidence in AJ, you might see Eddie Hearn try and send Hrgovic over there to fight Wilder. Or try and send Usyk over there to fight Wilder. That could happen. Now, Usyk is mandatory for Andy Ruiz's WBO belt. If AJ wins, I wouldn't be surprised to see him vacate the WBO belt. I wouldn't be surprised. Then you might have AJ as a heavyweight champion and Usyk as a heavyweight champion. And that gives Eddie Hearn a bit of insurance. So he's got 2 heavyweight champions instead of 1. 2 attractions instead of 1. He could put big fights on with Usyk fighting in Ukraine. So I think that Eddie Hearn has probably learned a lot from this AJ Ruiz situation, particularly how difficult the negotiations were for the rematch. And I think he also wants to give Heyman a taste of his own medicine now. Because Heyman likes to freeze people out. We've seen him do it in the welterweight division. He likes to freeze people out. And I think Eddie Hearn has seen what Heyman is capable of doing in the heavyweight division. And he wants to get his punch in before Heyman finishes him off. Now, obviously, this is all a nightmare scenario for me. Never mind what it's like for Deontay Wilder. I'm sure he wants to become undisputed, and I think it's fair criticism to say, why are you so confident? Why are you calling AJ out now after he just got wiped out by Ruiz? Why weren't you so gung-ho about fighting AJ before he'd lost? Now all of a sudden you're confident because you've seen him get knocked out already. And that's another thing as well. If Deontay Wilder did fight AJ, let's say AJ beats Ruiz in a rematch, and it's not a foregone conclusion. Ruiz could very easily win. But, as we all know, but let's say AJ does win. Even if AJ eventually fights Wilder for the undisputed, if Wilder wins, it's not going to be as significant as if he'd beaten an undefeated AJ. He's not going to get as much credit for it as he would have done if he'd beaten undefeated AJ. So he missed an opportunity there, Deontay Wilder. Because if he'd been the first guy to beat AJ, any losses AJ had after that could have just been put down to what Wilder did to him. Let's say Wilder was the first guy to beat AJ, and then AJ went on to lose to Ruiz anyway. People would say, yeah, but Ruiz only beat him because he was damaged goods after what Wilder did to him. Do you understand? So Wilder really has done himself a disservice. His team have done him a disservice in not taking the Anthony Joshua fight when he had the opportunity. From a business point of view and potentially from a legacy point of view, massive mistake. And as I say, for me, as somebody who wants to see the Undisputed fight as soon as possible, I think that it's getting further and further and further and further away. The only way we're going to see the Undisputed fight sooner rather than later is if Ruiz wins. If Ruiz wins, we're going to see the Undisputed fight. But if he don't win, I think it's going to be a very long time before that happens. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm underestimating the confidence and belief that Eddie Hearn has in AJ and AJ has in himself. I hope I'm underestimating it. But I think that Hearn's confidence in AJ has been massively shaken by what happened in New York on June 1st this year. Same goes for Sky and DAZN. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening, I'm out.
Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.